Well, as you can see, this is a lot of damn work to replace a little $3 seal. So at this point, let's take extra caution to make sure we put the seal in the right way. First, I'm going to spray some brake clean right into here to kind of blow out the debris. And then take some Q-tips and swab it to make sure it's nice and cleaned out. Also, don't be afraid to use some compressed air. Once again, this is what that $2 little pain in the butt seal looks like. This is a brand new one. I've put some grease all over it, and I'm going to slip it in, but do it very carefully. I don't want to have the lip get caught on the sharp edge here and cut this sucker. So okay, you're more than halfway done. Now we're going to reverse all those steps, including putting the shifter cable back on, repositioning the motor mount back on the stud, bolting back on the front subframe, the exhaust system, the exhaust brackets, the transmission crossmember, the drive shaft, all that good stuff. Okay, these parts are all bolted back up. Now I'm going to change gears and remove this front auxiliary transmission pan. I'm sure it's got some fluid in there. When I drained this before, I noticed the fluid was pretty dirty. So I'm going to pull this pan off here, clean it out, and put it back on. Well, this is part of the job that nobody likes, but it has to be done. Now that is clean. My gasket of choice, Felpro. The auxiliary transmission pan is now bolted on. Our next step is to add transmission fluid. But like I mentioned before, we have to do this a certain way. In order to get an accurate transmission fluid level, make sure the car is jacked up and is also level. You can do this by taking a tape measure, kind of going across a body contour line. Here's the front fender. Looks like I'm about 22 inches. Go to the back, and I'm getting the same number. So this car is level. Here's a view looking at the transmission from the driver's side, and this is the hole we're going to be adding fluid to. And with the engine running, we want to have the fluid so it's just seeping out of that hole. So I'm going to start pumping it full of oil right now. By the way, if my voice sounds funny, I've got a slight cold. I'm kind of congested, so anyways, this is how I'm going to transfer the ATF into the transmission. I'm using Dextron 3. You put this thing in here, pump it, and you can lift the fluid into the transmission. Okay, I went through about 3 quarts of ATF, and it's now bleeding out of the hole, so the pan is full. Now I'm going to start the engine up and add some more fluid. Service manual says to check the fluid level at a certain temperature range, which is 86 to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm in Phoenix in the middle of summer. It's about 105 degrees. I think I'm good. I'm now going to pull this tube out of the oil pan, put in the drain plug, and then fire the engine. I'm going to move the gear selector through reverse neutral drive back into park, and then turn it off. And then I'll come back underneath here, put that tube back in there, and then put the car back into idling. Okay, the engine has been started. I moved the gear selector between reverse, neutral, and drive, and then put it back into neutral. So now I'm going to pump in some more fluid. Okay, there we go. It's bleeding out. That took a little over 5 quarts. I actually went up in the car one more time and ran the transmission through reverse, neutral, and drive. Came back down, and it took some more fluid. So when it's all said and done, this transmission took 7 quarts of fluid. Well, there you go. That's what's involved with replacing the shift shaft seal. It's quite a bit of work, but if you got some patience and some tools, you can do it.